Hey, good afternoon everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really fast, good lunch salad. I ate a lot of this after surgery as well, and one of the reasons I did like this one is because it's got a good balance and it's really quick to make. Okay, so I did use pre-packaged salad mix for this, and you can use whatever you want for your additions. Some days I even defrosted a few shrimp. I found it worked best with a bit of English cucumber, a tomato, and depending on how much protein you feel you're needing that day, 1 or 2 boiled eggs. And I always keep some boiled eggs in the fridge, so that's not a big deal. I must confess I did use bottled dressing. I'm going to make one today to show you, if only just to show off my new toy, you know, because it's been a while since I bought a toy for the kitchen. And for that, I'm just going to need some vinegar, olive oil, and some Italian dressing. And of course something to mix it in. Now, if you don't have something like this, don't fret. Just keep an old dressing container. You know, you can wash it. Personally, I wouldn't actually put soap in it. I would just rinse it out, either with some water and then follow with a bit of vinegar. That works quite well. And then just mix it up in the bottle. Because if you've got an old container and you're careful about it, and you can either use your fingers or be very careful with a sharp knife and just kind of pry under the top, it'll pop right out, and you can mix your dressing and then put it back in, and it'll just spray out like it was out of the store. First thing to do is make the dressing. So this thing just comes apart like this. Twist it and pull it off. And for homemade dressings, like a simple vinaigrette like this, I always start with the spices first, and just get like a spoon. It doesn't matter, you don't have to measure, however much you like it. And just put that on the bottom. Now put the vinegar in before the oil. That way it'll help to infuse some of the flavor immediately if you waited till the last minute, and it just makes it a lot easier to mix. Again, there's no measuring this. It's oil and vinegar, so just eyeball about half. You do want to leave some room to mix it up. So put that in. And then add your oil. I do have olive oil. You can use regular oil for this, works just as well. And then I put the top back in. How does this thing work again? Okay, just push it in, twist it to line it up. Make sure the top is on. Okay, so that's what it looks like. This is so much fun, this thing. And then just squeeze. And a little twirly thing inside mixes up your dressing, and then you take the top off and then you pour it out, and of course put this back in the fridge. So you see how fast that separates after, eh? So you want to either do this right before you put it on your salad, or if you're using an old bottle, just give it a really good shake first. Now this is 12-ounce, 340-gram bag. I usually put in about half. Then after that I start chopping my vegetables. Now, you might notice my English cucumber looks a little funny. The end is all dried up. How I do it is I just leave it in the wrapper like this, okay? So let's say I'm going to want to put about that much in my salad. I just cut it off and cut off the dried end. And guess what? The rest of it's completely fresh. Then very, very carefully, I just slice the plastic off. You can do it on the counters if you make sure you don't cut yourself open. Now, if you're in a rush or you don't want to stand too much, just give this a quick rinse and slice it extremely thinly. If you want to be fancy, you can, when I say thin, I mean that thin. See through it thin. You know why? Because it tastes better. That's right. If you are going to slice it this thin, you don't actually need to peel it because you can hardly taste the peel. If you are going to be putting in big thick slices, I would suggest you peel it. I usually eat the last bit because I don't want to cut myself. And as you can see, a fairly small piece goes quite a long way. This, of course, again, it's to taste, so put in as much as you want. Just slice the end off, turn it upside down. Now you can cut this differently. I find this the easiest way to do it, and I will zoom in a bit. So I cut that in half and put it back together, turn it, hold it from the top, cut it in quarters. Now, if you're practiced at this, hold it. If not, do it piece by piece because you don't want to risk cutting yourself, okay? If you've got a good grasp on the sides, make sure your fingers are not in the way. And then just slice down like that. Turn it again. Okay? And do the same thing. I'll just pretend, and if you are not good at this, just take the pieces out and just kind of put it on its side a bit and just slice through it. And that way you get 8 pieces out of a tomato, and it looks like you've got more. Instead of having big chunks in your salad, put that on top. Now the last bit is the eggs. And if you don't know how to boil eggs, yes, I do have a video on that. And here is the link. So just bang them on the counter or your cutting board to get the peel started. I'm just doing this here for show. Usually I do this right over the sink because I do have a garburator. You can also just put them in a paper towel or whatever, or straight into the garbage. Now, after you've peeled it, I usually visually inspect it to make sure there's no fragment bits of shell left on it. And a quick rinse under the top takes care of that nicely. So I got both eggs peeled now. The easiest way I find to cut it is straight from the top. This I usually only do in 4. You could try 8, but it's just going to fall apart on you in the salad anyways. So just pop that in. Do the other one. See? No point in getting too fancy, it's going to fall apart on you. Doesn't matter. The yolks, the boiled yolks, mix in with the dressing very nicely, I find. And get your dressing, mix it up quick, pour it on to taste. Grab a fork, and you've got lunch. And that's how you make a really quick lunch salad or dinner. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again.